In Parliament this morning, the SDP's Gordon Maras, who is one of the members of the investigative commission that will investigate the Agricor debt crisis, publicly called on Agricor's owner, Ivica Todoric, to appear at the investigative commission's first session on the 30th of October. The HDZ's Branko Bačić responded by claiming that the SDP was trying everything it could to conceal its own role in Agricor's business operations, arguing that its biggest losses occurred when an SDP-led government was in office. During today's session, MPs are expected to debate the final draft law on the regulation of the railway services market and on the protection of passengers using railway transport, which will bring Croatian legislation in line with European standards. At the beginning of today's cabinet session, Prime Minister Andrej Plenković spoke about the Agricor debt crisis, stating that the consolidated audit report had shown the deep problems Agricor was in and that now its emergency management would continue the restructuring process. He also emphasised once again the importance of the emergency legislation known as Lex Agricor in protecting the country's economy and financial system. The head of the Agricor Investigative Commission, former SDP Justice Minister Orsat Miljanić, has announced a meeting for today at which he will invite the Commission's members to submit their written proposals on the direction of the Commission's work so that its plan of action can be implemented immediately at its first session on the 30th of October. The Commission has a 6-month mandate in which to complete its work. In the meantime, individual members of the Investigative Commission have been discussing the task ahead. Ivan Lovrinović from the Change Croatia party has said that the most important task is to investigate the relationship between Croatia's political structure and Agricor from its foundation to the present day. The HDZ's Josip Borić has warned that if state prosecutors launch a criminal investigation into Agricor, then the Commission's work will have to be called off, so as not to interfere with the judicial process. While the SDP's Gordon Maras says that the Commission and state prosecutors have their separate fields of inquiry and any overlap can be avoided without the need to call off the Commission's work. In Parliament last night, the opposition SDP and MOST parties sought that a registry of actual company owners prescribed in the draft law on the prevention of money laundering and financing terrorism be opened to the public. The new registry, which would take the form of a central electronic database, has been drawn up in accordance with EU directives. After receiving heavy criticism for the wording of the first draft of the New Family Act, Minister for Demographics, the Family, Youth and Social Policy, Nada Murganić, said on Croatian television yesterday that a new draft would be presented to the public in which the word family wouldn't be defined precisely. In the first draft of this law, the definition of a family did not include a couple without children. Sport, and in tennis, Marin Cilic has reached the quarterfinals of the ATP Masters Series tournament in Shanghai after defeating the American Steve Johnson 7-6, 6-4. He now faces the Spaniard Albert Ramos Vinolas. In basketball, Cedevita lost their first match in this season's Euro Cup to the Italian side Torino last night. The score was 86-83. In the next round, Cedevita will travel to Istanbul where they'll face Darüşşafaka. And in handball, PPD Zagreb has only managed to secure 2 points from its first 4 games in this season's Champions League. Their next game is against German champions Rhein-Neckar Löwen in Mannheim on Saturday evening. The match begins at 9 p.m. and there'll be live coverage on Croatian television's second channel. This afternoon's forecast calls for sunny weather in most regions. It'll be cloudier on the northern Adriatic, where some light rain is possible in places. There'll be a light southwesterly and westerly wind inland with a northwesterly on the coast. Highest daily temperatures will be between 19 and 24 degrees Celsius. For the next few days, stable weather is expected inland. There could be some early morning fog, but this will give way to sunny skies. On Saturday in Slavonia, an occasional moderate northwesterly wind is expected. Mornings will be fresher, with temperatures rising to around 20 degrees Celsius during the afternoon. On the coast, it'll be sunny with some light to moderate cloud cover. There'll be a light to moderate northwesterly wind with a northeasterly bora wind in places during the early mornings. Daily temperatures will rise slightly, reaching around 25 degrees Celsius in places.